Tired of the state of so-called popular music? Sick of searching everywhere for authentic bands and musicians?
Now, you've seen how bad things can get and how quick they can get that way.
Got the overproduced, under-talented auto-tune blues?
Yeah!
Then keep it tuned. Real music is on the way. This is Almost Famous. Your home, the best local musicians, and select live performances.
Here's Johnny.
Here's John Shea.
Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Lisa.
And Lisa Azizian.
And welcome to the second hour of Almost Famous here on 95.9 WATD. It is 9 o'clock on the nose, and we are heading over to the tiny stage for some live local music. And in studio tonight, we say hello to Patrick Coman. How are you tonight?
Hey, John, I'm doing great, man.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here on the tiny stage.
We're glad to have you. So if you could start off by introducing yourself. Who is Patrick Coman?
Sure. Well, John, you started with my name, so I think that's a great start. My name is Patrick Coman. I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I live here in the Boston area now. And in addition to performing under my own name, I'm also a DJ on a competing station. But I do a local music show just like you guys, so I love the scene.
I'm a fan, to be honest.
Thank you. I'm a fan as well. So
you can mention that. We don't mind.
Mutual Admiration Society.
It's non-profit radio, so we can...
Fantastic. Yeah, well, on WUMB, I do a Saturday morning show there called Local Folk. I'm also part of the New England Americana Festival, and I do a concert series here in the area called For the Sake of the Song.
Which I've been to before at Johnny D's.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of shows. We just actually debuted a brand new show last week at Johnny D's called Songs Linda Taught Us.
I wanted to go to that so
Linda
badly.
Ronstadt.
I love Linda Ronstadt.
It was so fun, man, because there's so many great... The thing about Linda Ronstadt is she has great taste in the songs that she picked to perform and to put on her albums. And so there's all this great material that she recorded from people like Neil Young, Chuck Berry, the Everly Brothers.
Carla Bonoff.
Exactly, all this great material to pull from. And so we put together this show where we had all these different singers playing these Linda Ronstadt songs. It was a lot of fun.
All right, I want to get more into you, but I want to hear a song first. What do you have first on your list tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm going to play a song, actually. This is a little-known fact, but the world radio debut of this song was actually right here on Almost Famous, earlier this month, in fact. It's called Red Diamond Blues, and it's the first song on the new album, Reds and Blues, all right?
Excellent.
Play this one for you, John. Red Diamond Blues. Kentucky's whiskey, Carolina's sugar cane. Kentucky's whiskey, Carolina's sugar cane. With old little mama, I'm wearing thin. I got them red diamond blues again. Red diamond blues again. Well, I seen you one time, baby, it's just as good as 10. Well, I seen you one time, babe, it's just as good as 10. Yeah, well, every time you leave, girl, you know where it ends. I get them red diamond blues again. Red diamond blues again. Hey, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Hey, yeah. Kentucky whiskey, Carolina sugar cane. Kentucky whiskey, Carolina sugar cane. Yeah, well, old little mama, now it looks like the end. I get them red diamond blues again. Red diamond blues again. I get them red diamond blues again. Red diamond blues
Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight, 95.9 WATD, with the song off the soon-to-be-released Reds and Blues CD.
That's exactly right. This soon to be released, in fact, this Saturday to be released, Reds and Blues.
So let's talk about that, the CD release show. What's going on?
Yeah, so we're doing it January 24th, this Saturday at the Lizard Lounge there in Cambridge, which is one of my all-time favorite intimate venues, you know.
I think it is the intimate venue in Boston.
Exactly. There's no stage there. That's what I really love about it. So everyone's just like right on all three sides of you when you're performing.
You can smell what they had for dinner.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes I can take a fry off the front table if I'm quick.
I've actually seen people do that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, this is the CD release show, like I said, for Reds and Blues. And the idea behind the album is that we recorded these 7 songs. They're songs that I've written in the style of 7 different albums. They're kind of some of my favorite albums, or albums that influenced me. And so we're going to play a set. We're going to play the album start to finish. We're also going to do a second set of covers from some of these different albums that kind of influenced Reds and Blues. So it should be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight. You mentioned you were from Oklahoma originally. What brought you to Boston?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's an interesting story, but it's actually very short. So I met this girl. We started dating, you know, and we moved down to Nashville together, and then we spent some time traveling around. And she decided she wanted to come up north where she's from, so I kind of followed her down this way. Ended up in Boston about 5 years ago.
Excellent.
So indeed, love, I guess, is the short answer for you, John.
What was the Oklahoma music scene like? Were you a part of that as well?
Well, yeah, you know, Oklahoma has a great music scene, especially in country music, as you might imagine. There's a lot of famous songwriters from Oklahoma as well, and particularly from my hometown in Tulsa.
Was that Garth Brooks? Is he one of them?
Garth Brooks, yeah, he's from Owasso, just out of town. Hanson, another big one when I was in middle school. But also people like J.J. Cale, who did a lot of writing for Eric Clapton, and Leon Russell, who, did those arrangements for, like, Joe Cocker and Mad Dogs and Englishman Tour and things like that.
Dr. John and stuff like that.
Yeah, he worked with a lot of artists kind of in that 70s L.A. scene.
Excellent. We have Patrick Coman live in studio tonight. What's your website, Patrick?
Yeah, it's just my name. It's patrickcoman.com. And I know some people out there will be confused because they might think I've been saying Coleman this whole time. But it's actually Patrick Coman, COMAN.com.
All right, and we'll get that link up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But let's roll into another song. What's next on your set list tonight?
Let's play another from the album. I mentioned that I had spent some time traveling around before we ended up in Boston. And this is a song I guess I wrote about coming into Boston, kind of seeing this unfamiliar place, trying to make it home, trying to reconcile it with things that have come before, all right? This one's called Foreign Tongue. Everyone's a tourist in this God-forsaken town. I like to say I live there, but I've only just been around enough to know the secrets and enough to forgive. But I can't find the shortcuts to the places we once lived. I hear you calling in a foreign tongue, an old familiar melody, but the words they will not come. I hear you calling in a foreign tongue, an echo of a memory of a song when it was young. Crowds came in the summertime, so you like the winter best. You're freezing in the squares at night, you held me to your chest. The street singer sings his song, the statue's holding still. You're running through the Avenue just to see if I will hear you calling when a foreign tongue, an old familiar melody, but the words they will not come. I hear you calling when a foreign tongue, an echo of a memory of a song when it was young. I hear you calling in a foreign tongue, an old familiar melody, but the words they will not come. I hear you calling in a foreign tongue, an echo of a memory of a song when it was young. Echo of a memory of a song when it was young. An echo of a memory of a song when it was young.
Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. That was actually, I don't know if I told you this, but you were our local artist of the day today.
Oh, right.
And we played that song this morning at 9:40 and 12:40.
Oh, that's so cool, man. That's so great to hear.
So
Wow.
Drive Time Radio.
Awesome. Wow. That's really cool.
What is the story behind that song?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'd done some traveling around and including spending some time in Berlin. And so when I wrote this song, it was about moving back to the United States, but I kind of used some of the imagery from the city of Berlin, which is funny because it fits with Boston really well too. Talking about the different squares and these different open plazas that are kind of present throughout the city, and just that picture of walking through those in the dead of winter, just a time just like right now when you're walking through Harvard Square in the dead of night and it's freezing cold and you get that cold wind, but there's that one guy like busking, off in the corner. And it sounds amazing because it's echoing off of all these huge buildings and it's going everywhere and it sounds huge. And I don't know, something about that sound, that image, that's where the song came from.
That's awesome. Could you take us through your songwriting process about, kind of beginning to end, how you typically write a song?
Well, actually, I'm going to... I'll talk specifically about this latest album that I recorded because I wrote it in a little bit different way than I had done in the past. And in that, I was playing a lot and I was working a lot on all these different things, these things that I was exploring, these different facets of music that were kind of new to me, although they weren't new. But I was getting stuck on writing my own material. And kind of a way that I broke through this writer's block was I noticed that there were these certain albums where they'd get stuck in my head, where I would just listen to them over and over and over throughout the day. And from that, a song would start to emerge. And it wouldn't be exactly like any song from that album, but it'd have a little flavor of just that album I was listening to. So I started kind of using that as a tool to spark just some threads of my own imagination and write these different songs, which is kind of where these songs came from, this latest collection.
That's great. The album is called Reds and Blues. It's coming out this coming Saturday?
This coming Saturday,
at the Lizard
exactly.
Lounge.
So we're going to release it, obviously, locally in town at the Lizard Lounge. That's our local release show, but we'll be doing the actual album release tour starting in April with the show at Club Passim, so that will be fun as well. And I guess the relevant information for people that are looking for the album or how to hear it is to go to my website, patrickcoman.com. That's probably the easiest way to check it out online.
And the album was fan-funded, correct?
Exactly right. Yeah, we did a big Pledge Music campaign here just to, as a pre-order campaign, actually. So we had already recorded the album. But, yeah, we're happy to have, kind of raised that amount of money that we were able to make this thing happen.
And I love the packaging.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so we tried to do
7-inch.
something a little different. Yeah, exactly. So I call this kind of like, I don't know, this album is like my personal jukebox because it's all my favorite albums kind of tucked in there in 7 different songs. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of put it into a jukebox package, like a 45 record. So it's in this nice big 7-inch package.
Awesome. Do you have plans to release the album on vinyl?
Well, I'd love to, definitely. I have some plans to potentially... There's a couple of B-sides from the album that I'd like to revisit and maybe put out as a single later on in the year as 45, a real 45.
Awesome.
So there'll just be 2 songs, and maybe we'll get this one on vinyl. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
We have 2 turntables in here. We'll play it.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds great.
All right. Let's roll into another song. What's next on your set list tonight?
Yeah, well, I'll play this one. This is a song I wrote. It was the last one I wrote on the album, and it's the last song on the album. And this is kind of my Rolling Stones-inspired tune. I'll give you guys a little scoop here. This is kind of my Exile on Main Street song. Thinking a little bit about Sweet Virginia, but on this one I got a different gal in mind. This one's called My Baby's Been Good to Me. It goes a little something like this. A 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4. I met my baby up in Carolina, and I took her back to Tennessee. Well, I followed that girl halfway across the world, 'cause my baby's been good to me. My baby lives in a big red house, corner south of JP. Well, I ride that orange line every night and day to fall down at her feet, because my baby's been good to me. Baby's been good to me. Well, she knows when she's right. She ain't afraid of fights. You know my baby, she's been good to me. My baby goes about 5'4" from her head on down to them shoes. So here's a quarter for the jukebox, play some Gloria boys, 'cause you know I got no time to lose, because my baby's been good to me. You know my baby's been good to me. Well, she knows when she's right. She ain't afraid of fights. You know my baby, she's been good to me. Because my baby's been good to me. My baby's been good to me. Well, she knows when she's right. She ain't afraid of fights. You know my baby, she's been good to me. I said my baby, she's been good to me. You know my baby, she's been good to me.
Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight. 95.9 WATD. I definitely hear Stone's influence in that.
Nice. All right. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. I wore my
Awesome.
Stones shirt for you today.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like an early 80s Stones t-shirt there.
With the giant tongue.
With the giant tongue.
Just so people at home can envision it.
Exactly. We're being filmed tonight, by the way. We should mention that this episode can be seen on a future edition on the Raynham Channel. Margot here doing a cool job filming, and Julie taking pictures.
Yeah, it's like I got my own little paparazzi in
Yeah,
here.
it's
pretty
cool. Makes you feel important.
It does, it does, which is good. I need to have a healthy ego to perform, you know?
I think everybody does. We have to take a quick break. It is 9:20, but we have more live local music heading your way next, right here on Almost Famous 95.9 WATD. And we're back on the tiny stage with Patrick Coman here at 95.9 WATD. My name is John Shea. This is Almost Famous here on the South Shores radio station. Local music every Tuesday night, 8 to 10 p.m. So, Patrick, how are you holding up in there tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great despite all these cameras clicking. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Like you said, the paparazzi is here. Now, you mentioned this new album was inspired by several of your favorite albums growing up. Talk a little bit about some of those albums you're referencing.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's see. First couple songs I played, Red Diamond Blues. That one is kind of my take on a blues from maybe Bob Dylan and the band, Basement Tapes era. You know, so they did a lot of sort of classic blues forms, both little twists. So that's what we tried to do with that. And then the other song I played, Foreign Tongue, was kind of similar. We talked a little bit about the influence of it, you know, but there's kind of that similar feeling of dislocation with an album by Tom Petty called Wildflowers, which is one of my other favorite albums, obviously, as you might expect.
I can listen to that album on repeat forever. It's like one of the best ever.
And it has a particular sound to it because of the way that Rick Rubin produced it. And so we tried to capture some of that sort of more classic pop sound with the production of the song as well. Things like that, you know.
Fantastic. Now, were you always into classic rock growing up?
Well, let's see. Well, I think when I, first discovered the guitar, it was definitely from seeing a kid in my 5th grade talent show play a Nirvana song with a band, and I was like, I gotta get a guitar. I gotta do that. So it was definitely more through, the popular music of the time was Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, stuff like that. But I would say straight from there into some more classic rock, and then from there deeper into the roots of American music, into folk and country and old-time music, the blues, of course, jazz, stuff like that.
Nevermind is still one of the all-time classic albums.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it stands the test of time. And, right when I was driving down here, I heard a track, speaking of going full circle, but from Nirvana Unplugged of Kurt Cobain playing a Leadbelly song, I mean, how cool is that?
That's incredible.
So that's the kind of stuff that I always find interesting, is those different intersections of artists, right, from the past and from the present. So it's funny to me that I could have gotten to Leadbelly through maybe Dave Van Ronk, because I started listening to him, because I listened to Graham Parsons, because I listened to Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones, because I listened to Ryan Adams, you know what I mean?
Yeah, who then introduced you to like Muddy Waters and
exactly
the classics.
Or I could have got there from Nirvana. You can get there in a lot of different ways. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting how music kind of cross-pollinates different genres and different styles. Well, you never even realize you're listening to it.
It's a renewable resource. That's the cool thing about music. It can always be made new.
Could you talk a little bit about, speaking of which, could you talk a little bit about your For the Sake of the Song shows?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this album is really inspired kind of by that series, I guess, and the ideas behind it, which is that I thought it was fun to bring together these different songwriters and pay tribute to some artists who have really influenced their work. I'm talking about people that are all great original writers, paying tribute to somebody who's really influenced their work and then playing some original music to kind of show you that connection.
The one that comes to mind, one of my favorite shows, was the one that you did, the tribute to Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Which had Adele and Jude, and they had Highway Ghost played at that.
Exactly.
I think Susan Catania was there.
No, Susan Catania actually did a different show for us. She did a Hank Williams tribute, which was also a fantastic show. But, I mean, it really, those kind of country stalwarts, guys like that, Johnny Cash and Hank, what's really interesting is when people pay tribute to them to see, first of all, there's a wealth of material to pick from, and the fans that it attracts, because people of all different stripes love Johnny Cash and love Hank Williams. So those guys are bedrock, you know what I mean?
And that's another
So
one you
many
mentioned,
different
you can go through, go through 9 Inch Nails and discover Johnny Cash.
Exactly, yeah, exactly right, And that's, I think, the true test of a great songwriter, right? Is that stuff sticks.
Exactly. Patrick Coman's on our tiny stage tonight, our 95.9 WATD. What's next on your set list tonight?
Yeah, well, I thought it'd be fun. This is a song that's not from the album. This is one I've written since that time. I guess a little teaser for the next album. I don't know. It'll be called, like, Purples and Greens or something. I'm not sure. I haven't named it yet. But this is a new one, so I'm going to play it for you guys tonight. It's called Rock When I Roll. And it goes, I guess, something a little bit like this. Are changing. I can see them quaking in their shoes. And as for me, Still got them bottom shelf blues. And on the corner, you know Jamie, he ain't looking too good. I can tell by the marks in his pale forearms, he ain't lost all he got left to lose. Why do you rock, baby, when I wanna roll? Why do you rock, baby, when I wanna roll? Why do you rock, baby, when I wanna roll? Well, I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. And as for me, I guess I must have kept my nose clean. You know, despite my best intentions, you must be looking after me. 'Cause on the corner, yeah, well, Jamie, he ain't looking too good. Yeah, he ain't had a meal in at least 4 nights, but the neighbors keep applying him with booze. Why do you rock, baby, when I wanna roll? Why do you rock, baby, when I wanna roll? Why do you rock, baby, when I wanna roll? Well, I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. 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 I
know. Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight, 95.9 WATD. Could you take us through the backstory to that song?
Yeah, well, I don't know. This one has a lot of different undercurrents going on. I think part of it is, you know, I heard that phrase, the winds are changing, and I can see them quaking in their shoes. That's how the song starts. And that was from an article I read about income inequality, I guess. It was something that was just, I felt like that attitude, that feeling was kind of percolating through a lot of different strains in society and culture right now. And so I tried to tap into that. And I guess it's mixed also with some imagery of some stuff. I live right outside of the Stony Brook Tea Stop in Jamaica Plain. And it's kind of an interesting area because there's a lot of different kinds of people there, you know, of all stripes and all backgrounds. And some of them ain't looking so good sometimes. And it's funny to see the same people day in, day out, see how some days they're doing okay, and then some days they're not quite doing as nicely, I suppose.
That's a cool story.
Well, I don't know if yeah, exactly, if it's a story or not, but yeah, that's kind of what's...
People watching is always an interesting activity, because you never know, you know, what somebody's story is walking by.
Yeah, well, I think it's a necessary occupation if you're going to be a songwriter. You have to be a person watcher, yeah, a people watcher. I'm not sure.
When you're writing your songs, are you do you write lyrics first or do you write melody first?
Well, you know, I've done it all different ways. It just depends on how the song comes. You know, usually I find the melody and the hook comes first, and then I'll get a little phrase, and then I start weaving in like an actual story on top of that. But, you know, it can happen. I've written songs down and then put music to them as well.
Awesome. And every once in a while, and this doesn't happen that often here on this show, but sometimes we have a songwriter observing. And I'm going to eventually throw Krista on the air here and have her ask a question. Do you have anything off the top of your head you want to ask him?
Uh-oh.
This mic over here.
Firing squad.
No, I guess it's not so much a question as... Well, actually, I'll ask you a question from my own preference from the songwriting perspective. What you're talking about that part you find or the melody or whatever, for me, it's always like if I fall in love with it, then I'll bring in all those other elements. Like I've written stuff before that it's like I might just toss it because it just doesn't, like, in my gut hit me, and I just like love it. Like once I get that part that I really love, I'll bring all those other elements in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I learned this technique actually from a friend of mine named Brendan Murphy, who is in a great band called Autumn Hollow. He said, I don't write it down. He said, I don't write it down for the first couple times, and if I remember it after that, then it's probably good.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I remember when I first started writing, that's how I did everything, and I think, first of all, I had less songs in my head, so it was easier to remember, so I think that was working against me a little bit, but I totally agree with that. When it sticks in your head and you don't write it down, that's a good sign, yeah.
It's worth pursuing at that point, because you got to screen out some stuff.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Because sometimes you spend days chasing stuff down, it doesn't always yield anything.
Yeah, cool.
All right, thank you, Krista. We have Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight. Let's just keep going. What's next on your list tonight?
Yeah, all right. This is a fun one. I like to play this one with the band that I've been playing with, which is they're going to be with me on Saturday night. I'm really excited. We got some great players. We're going to have Andrew Jones on the drums, and Mr. Joe Klompus, who's about the busiest working man in show business, on the bass guitar. And we'll also have Mr. Peter Parchik, just a blues legend in his own right, but he's going to be playing lead for us. And, of course, I'll be there. And we'll have some different friends jumping up throughout. But this is one we like to play with the band. We call this one 9 to 5ers. And I'll play it for all the working folks out there. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. With these boys on 9 to 5ers, I'm an all-nighter. Well, they shove off at your quitting bell, and I'll keep pushing on till it's lighter. With these boys on 9 to 5ers, I'm an all-nighter. I'm gonna work till the job is done. I said, Mr. Johnson, if you please, I've been out there picking on my knees, and I'm feeling pretty tired as the sun goes down. I've been out here working half a day, and I ain't seen Lord but a nickel of pay, and that sweet gal of mine, she got company. Called so many things, and I never care too much for names. If you wanna know how I'm feeling about it now, so you can say I'm lazy, honey, say I'm slow, and you may be right for all I know, but I'm headed back to that sweet little gal of town. 'Cause these boys are 9 to 5ers, I'm an all-nighter. They shove off at your quitting bill, and I keep on this ladder. With these boys, I'm nickel and dimers, honey. I'm a whole dollar. I'm gonna work till your job is done. Yeah, I'm gonna work till the job is done. Yeah, I'm gonna work till the job is.
Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. Sounding awesome.
Thank you, John.
I like that song.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's one. That maybe we'll have coming out later on this year. We recorded a great version of it, but it's not actually on the album. It's called 9 to 5ers, like I said.
Excellent. We were just talking in the studio here about some of the shows that you've done, and could I possibly ask you to try a cover song?
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that you asked, actually. I'd love to try one. I have a song here that is a song that I've been covering for a number of years, but it has, I guess, grown to have some more importance to me and to my family.
And I do have to ask, which Linda Ronstadt song did you cover for the sake of the song?
Oh, yeah. Well, I did a great song that I actually learned through a group called the Flying Burrito Brothers, which featured Graham Parsons as their kind of lead singer and songwriter. but it's actually a Percy Sledge song called "Dark End of the Street." It's an old soul song. It's beautiful. It's about a couple that kind of, well, let's just say they're not supposed to be together, but they can't help but being together, and kind of coming to terms with that. But I'm not going to play that one right now. How about I'm going to play this song. It's a Townes Van Zandt song.
Love him.
Oh, he's one of my favorites. Obviously, I
think he is the best songwriter ever. Like he's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I would put him up there. You know, there's the famous Steve Earle quote. He said, "Townes Van Zandt is the best songwriter of all time, and I will stand on Bob Dylan's coffee table in my cowboy boots and say that." So that's high praise. You know what I mean?
Well, he's one of those artists that, you know, whenever I hear, you know, if I'm listening to a folk show or to an acoustic station, and I hear a really good song that I've never heard before, chances are, when I look it up, it's written by Townes Van Zandt.
Right, yeah, exactly. And just when you think you know all this stuff, there's always another song that you just hadn't heard that's just going to devastate you. But this is one of those for me, at least. And it's a song he wrote about this guy named Rex Bell, who was an owner of the Old Quarter music venue out there in Texas, where the famous Live at the Old Quarter album was recorded. But we kind of recorded this song because a lot of the lyrics, it was a song that I felt like I could communicate through. It almost felt like he wrote it for me, or, you know, as if it was kind of written to match some things I was going through. So anyway, this one's called Rex's Blues. Play it for you now. Ride the blue wind high and free, and she'll lead you down through misery, leave you low come time to go, alone and low as low can be. But tell my sister I said so long, tell my mother I done no wrong, and tell my brother to watch his own, and tell my friends to mourn me none, 'cause I got legs to walk and thoughts to fly, lips to laugh and eyes to cry, restless tongue to classify. We're all born to grow and grown to die. I'm chained upon this face in time, a feeling full of foolish rhyme, a restless tongue and I'll be mine, and I'm bound to leave this dark behind. So ride the blue wind high and free, and she'll lead you down through misery, she'll lead you low come time to go, alone and low as low can be, alone and low as low can be, alone and low as low can be.
Incredible. Love it. Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. Sounding amazing.
Oh, thank you, John. Thanks, man.
Let's recap some of those dates again. This
sure.
Friday night is the CD release show at the Lizard Lounge, one of the best places in the city for local music.
This Saturday night.
This Saturday
actually,
night, I'm sorry.
January 24th, yeah. Yeah, it's exactly. I love the Lizard Lounge, man. It's such a fun place. So I was there last Saturday, and I saw the Suitcase Junket do his CD release show there. And he set the bar pretty high for a Saturday night at the Lizard, so I'm a little worried about that. But
what's the capacity there? Like maybe 75, 80 people?
I believe it's technically 90, but that includes, it's in Cambridge, so they have some arcane rules about what that includes. So, yeah, it's tight, man. It's tight. It's going to be tight. So I definitely recommend people get their tickets in advance if they think they want to come.
When we first started up the radio show, one of the very first shows that I went to go see with Almost Famous was, I think it was the Girls, Guns, and Glory CD release show. And it was just totally mobbed and totally crazy. And I think I got home at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I believe it, man. Those guys go, for sure. It's cool because there's been so many great artists that have done CD release shows there. Like Lake Street Dive did their, obviously not their most recent one, but the one before that, their self-titled album. They did their release there, and then obviously they've gone on to big things. Girls, Guns, and Glory, so there's definitely a history of some really awesome acts doing CD release shows.
In fact, I think it was 2 years ago, the Americana Kickoff Party was there, the Americana Festival.
That's exactly right, yeah.
With, I think Girls, Guns, and Glory was there. Janae Halstead was there.
A sneak appearance, yeah, exactly right. Janae Halstead was there. Dave DeLuca played. Brian Carroll. I'm sure I was on stage at some point, although it's a little hazy at this point.
Yeah, I think it was for everybody that night. Now, talk a little bit about, you're still a part of the Americana Festival, correct?
Yeah, exactly. We had a really fun festival this past fall. It was just a true blast to just see all those people out in Harvard Square listening to local original music, on a beautiful day at the end of September.
Now, it's usually 2 days. This year it was just 1 day, right?
We just moved it to 1 day exactly because we wanted to focus more on the outdoor portion of the festival and kind of grow that because we felt that was the way we could reach the most people, and I think definitely we saw that was the case.
And I'm bummed because I was at a wedding this year and I couldn't make it, so next year I'll definitely be there this year, actually.
Yeah, wow.
I'll be there.
It's already, next year is this year.
That's right.
How'd that happen?
I know. Crazy. Now it's going to be, it's in October, correct? Or September?
It has traditionally been in September, although we have not set a date yet for this year. So I guess it remains to be seen, although generally that's the time that it's been. So
now that's usually a volunteer project, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a committee of folks, really the two guys who founded it, Noel Coakley and John Colvert. They put together a committee of people to kind of help with it because it's a big project, as you'd imagine. Everyone's volunteered their time. Yeah. It's definitely a large undertaking. A large undertaking for sure.
It's always a great weekend. What's the website for people to keep an eye on the date for that?
Yeah, if they just check the Harvard Square website, harvardsquare.com, that's where they actually most quickly update the events for Harvard Square.
Excellent.
So it'll be there again, I'm sure of it, in 2015, yep.
We have Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. We have time for maybe one more song before we have to take our final break. So what are you taking us up into the break with?
All right. Well, yeah, let's go into the break with an old soul song. I just released this one on Facebook and everything, on my social media, on my website today. I've been rolling out the tracks one by one along with the album that they're influenced by. So this one is today's song. It is called Carry On. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Is broken and my pride is bruised. Might have had a puncher's chance, still you knocked me right out of my shoes. Well, my cuts are open and the damage is done. Might have seen me standing there long after you had your fun. Carry on, carry on. Yeah, my baby's left me now. Oh, what can be done? Carry on, carry on. Yeah, my baby's left me, and I feel like I'm coming undone. Well, my veins are empty, and my tears are dried. Might have had a poker face till you caught my eye. Now my arms are shaky and my knees are weak. Yeah, you got a glass jar, honey, it cuts every time that you speak. Carry on, carry on. Yeah, my baby's left me now. Oh, what can be done? Carry on, carry on. Yeah, my baby's left me, and I feel like I'm coming undone. If there's one thing I know, it's I ain't got much to lose. If there's one thing I know, it's that I'll go down swinging while you keep on singing these middleweight title fight bare knuckle back alley blues. Whoa, honey. My baby's left me now. Oh, what can be done? Carry on, carry on. Yeah, my baby's left me, and I feel like I'm coming undone.
Patrick Coman on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. We have to take a short timeout. When we come back, though, Sam has your concert calendar, and then we'll check in with Patrick. Do you maybe have one more song left in you?
I got one more left in me, yeah.
All right. Let's do that right after this on 95.9 WATD. Before we go back over to the tiny stage and hear one more song from Patrick Coman, we have Sam standing by with the concert calendar. Sam, what's up?
Hey, John. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you.
Hey, thanks. Soon to be Happy Hump Day. And here's a way to celebrate. We've got Molly Pinto Madigan with Brian Carroll at the House of Brews. And then on Thursday, we've got Amy Kucherick at Toad in Cambridge. Friday, we got 3 great shows. See if you can make them all in one night. It's Jilly Martin, Amazing Things Performing Arts Center in Framingham. Danielle Miraglia at Sally O'Brien's with the Spotted Tiger, and Krista Gneidick at Paradise Cafe. Thanks again, Krista, for playing tonight. That was beautiful.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sam. And we have time, I think, to go back over to Patrick Coman for one more song. But first, let's kind of recap some of the upcoming shows that you have.
Yeah, okay. So definitely I'm excited about Saturday night, January 24th, the CD release at the Lizard Lounge. I've also got a fun Valentine's Day show coming up February 14th, obviously, on Valentine's Day at Atwood's. We're going to do a Reds and Blues Valentine. And I guess April 6th, I'll be doing the Club Pass Team Spring Tour kickoff as well.
Fantastic. The CD is called Reds and Blues. It's kind of inspired by all your favorite albums.
Exactly. All songs inspired by some of my favorite albums. So I'll leave you with one, John. You ready for me to play one more?
Yeah, let's do one more. Just one last question is, where can people get the CD?
Yeah, absolutely, man. They should just go to my website. Right now we're still running that pledge campaign so people can pre-order the album, get an immediate digital download at patrickcoman.com. But I imagine sometime next week we'll put up the album for sale as well, of course. So PatrickComan.com if you want to check out Reds and Blues.
All right, sir, the microphone is yours. Take it away.
All right, I'll leave you with this one. This was almost the title track. This one's called Trouble in the First Degree. It goes a little something like this. I got trouble in the first degree. Yeah, with all these pretty women, won't let this poor boy be. I got wolves, hear them creeping, howling round my back door. But this ain't the first time this little rabbit's done it. We got away before. I got trouble, yeah, trouble in the first degree. I got trouble, yeah, trouble, and these troubles won't let me be. I got trouble, yeah, trouble in the first degree. That old hound dog won't take his paws off of me. I got busted once in Tulsa, possession in the first degree. I done called myself a lawyer. He said you ought to let this poor boy be. You got questions, you got theories, and y'all got your threats. But there's one thing, boys, that you don't have, and it's called the evidence. I got trouble, yeah, trouble in the first degree. I got trouble, yeah, trouble, and these troubles won't let me be. I got trouble, yeah, trouble in the first degree. That old hound dog won't take his paws off of me.